Welcome to Burn the Ship. This is the podcast where we connect entrepreneurs with professionals that can help you go all in on your business. We talk to people that have walked the walk, talked the talk, been through all the things that we experience as entrepreneurs, and come out the other side with more skills, more experience that they're willing to share with us so that we can run a more successful business. So, thank you for coming.
Yeah,
First of all, appreciate your time very much.
yeah,
It means a lot to me for anybody to come in the office or meet with us virtually and share a little bit of time with me, with the audience to teach us something based on kind of what you've been through. So, I appreciate you opening that up to us, being willing to talk about it, and making the trip down there. So thank you very much, and I mean that.
definitely.
Your time is very valuable to us. But why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself? Tell us a little
Sure.
bit about who you are and your background and your business.
Yeah. My name is Luan Jenkins. Um, so I entrepreneur. I started two businesses. One focuses on design agency. It's called Align, um, and then we, basically design websites and branding and SEO for startups, tech companies, nonprofits, and um, people. We have clients all over the world.
Sure.
It's based in Vietnam. The website is align.vn. We have about 10 people, and then the other business is a nut butter production company, and basically we make peanut butter and cashew butter, nut milk, oil, just organic, natural products to serve kind of the Southeast Asian market, and yeah, it's and focusing mainly helping low income farmers, and helping people who are vegetarians or vegans to have an option to have protein supplements or whatever. So yeah, happy to talk about those. And then recently, like I mentioned, just those two companies also in Vietnam recently moved to Atlanta about a year ago and brought my family here. But I was born in Rome, Georgia. Grew up there, went to Boy Scout, went to Rome High School, wrestled,
Nice.
got finalists in wrestling at 103. That
Nice.
was pretty.
When did you
Uh,
graduate?
2004.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
That's cool.
and then went to Anderson University in South Carolina, and then got double major in art education and graphic design, and then basically both of my parents. I grew up in a family of teachers. I thought I was going to be an art teacher, but ended up, in 2008. That's when I graduated. There was that financial crisis of
Sure.
wasn't sure what I wanted to do, so I ended up just taking a design job, building websites for a company for companies in Greenville area, and then yeah, and then ended up I grew up also going to church, and also was a part of scouting and things like that, and had a pretty like foundationally a good Christian foundation, and visited an orphanage in Honduras in 2013, and kind of decided was like, oh, a big part also is I'm adopted. So sorry, skipping things
That's
around,
okay.
but yeah, I'm adopted, and that's why my last name is Jenkins, and but I'm adopted from Vietnam, and a big part of my and I was adopted when I was 10,
Oh, wow.
and so it wasn't like a baby when I was 10. I could remember still some things, and lost the ability to speak Vietnamese because growing up in Rome, there's not a lot of
Right.
Rome, Georgia, not a lot of Asians, and so wanted to go back to Vietnam to kind of relearn or like just figure out language and culture, and so ended up going there. And I thought I would only stay for like a year. Ended up staying for 10 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, And that's where I met my wife and we had a daughter there, and then ended up after COVID, which was pretty crazy
Yeah.
in Vietnam, because population in Vietnam in Ho Chi Minh City is around 18 million
Mm.
people, and so it's pretty dense. And so there's a lot of like chaos and things like that, and because COVID is, of course, like proximity virus, right? So that many people in
Yeah.
that area, a
People
lot of
being
people
close to each other is not good from
yeah,
a
right,
COVID
right.
perspective. Yeah.
Daughter got sick and wife also, and things like that. And so we decided to move back to the States. So that's where we are in our journey.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Tell me a little bit about the business. What's your day to day like?
Yeah, so so the two businesses I started in 2016. I actually wanted to start three businesses. So my philosophy was like, okay, I wanna start a business, but I don't know which will succeed,
Sure.
and I just want to kind of like you know try different ones that I was interested in and see which one works. And I was like, okay, like probability is like probably most of these, all three might fail.
Mm.
Um, Maybe one will succeed, or all of them would be successful. Who knows? Or all maybe one will be more successful than the other, and I can kind of switch. So because I just didn't know, and I didn't know, and I wasn't a business person. I studied art and graphic design. I wasn't a business major. I just was like, okay, just like throw the business ideas against the wall and see
Mm.
what sticks, and mainly just trying to do things that I was interested in. So the first one that failed was an app that focused on teaching people English.
Mm.
It's called Hello Lion, and basically it was like an app that helped teachers to build online learning games,
Mm.
kind of like Mario, and you can like play. There's like you can play bingo and learn how to play words, or like teachers can make games and then give it to students, and they could play the games. But that wasn't successful because I thought teachers had time to make games, but
They
teachers
don't.
don't have time
Mm.
to do anything. So that really failed. And also, I didn't know how to communicate and teach, get it out. Then I tried the the design agency, which worked a little bit better because that's mainly what I understand and know better. Um, and that skill set helps me with pretty much everything because it's basically marketing and branding,
Sure.
right? Like so, I utilize that to help with that food, which is the peanut butter company, and then yeah, and so um, uh, so those two are still surviving. That food is not profitable. It's been since 2016, so it's still not been hasn't been profitable. But Align is the one that has been profitable and most successful, but it's the one that is not scalable. It's
Mm. It's based on your time and talent.
yeah, it's just trading time, and and the runway the profitability margin is not high. Whereas like, if you can scale a product and get it on a bigger scale, it could scale pretty big.
Sure.
Yeah.
So what's the game plan for that food? It's 8 years in,
Yeah.
no profit.
Yeah.
What's the roadmap?
So essentially we started in Vietnam, which is like where there wasn't a lot of competitors, where because peanut butter is not prevalent in Southeast Asia, um, and so the but now with a lot more expat and tourists, it's getting to where it's um, it's scaling a little bit more. We have a factory. We basically make our own product and from end to end. And we've exported to Singapore and Japan and other places. Like I think we're exploring to export in France and then also export here in the U.S. But the roadmap is basically try to get to other countries, and then because the market in Southeast Asia or Vietnam is not very big.
Sure.
Yeah.
And you think it'll continue to grow as the tourism increases. So
Yeah, I think so. And also,
the exports get you to a profitable place, and so you
yeah,
can build the market in
yeah,
the area you know best. So.
right. And we're exploring other products like another product that is selling a lot better than peanut butter is or cashew butter is milk, nut
Mm,
milk. Because that's smaller, easier to consume. It's like milk tea is very
right.
popular in Southeast Asia, and so it's similar to that, but it's much healthier. Instead of a bunch of sugar, it's just natural sugar.
Sure.
So maybe something that we could bring that here to
Yeah.
Atlanta or something like that.
Yeah. No, that's exciting. And so what's kind of been that thing that you do well that helps you keep pushing these like you didn't pick the easiest industries, right? You didn't pick like the lowest hanging fruit or the thing that most naturally meshed with your skills, right? Because there's sales and administration and a bunch of different things that go along with both of those industries. So like
Yeah,
what's kind of been your superpower? You know, what is that thing that's helped you persist through these 8, 10 years,
yeah,
even though they've been difficult?
yeah. I think probably two things. One is kind of hard headed. Like I don't really, I haven't wanted to give up. So I think as an entrepreneur, you kind of need that persistent,
Resilience, yeah.
yeah, that tenacity of like. So that kind of came from wrestling, where like cutting weight and just being like really like putting your head against the wall and just continue because it's just about timing the market, and eventually the time will come if you keep swinging. So I think that like even though it's yeah, so it's just that belief that that time will come. I guess it may never come, and you do sometimes have to pivot and change, but just not really kind of like giving up. And along with that, having the mindset of like gamifying something like
Mm-hmm.
that Mario mindset, where Mario game mindset, where you play the first game of Mario and you die, you fall in off the cliff, and you're like, okay, that's it, I give up.
Yeah.
That's not entrepreneurship. Like you die, or you fall off and you start over, and then you're like, okay, there's that pitfall. Like I got to jump over it. I got to press, double tap or whatever,
Yeah.
and double jump over it. And so you learn the next time. But the thing is that you gotta have enough runway or enough like understanding of what you're spending to where to where you can
Properly analyze the risk. Yeah.
yeah, and try it the second time or
Yeah.
third time or fourth or fifth or 100th.
Yeah.
So basically you gotta really get your finance in order to where you can try multiple times,
Yeah.
because you don't know how many times you have to try until it
Till it works.
successful.
Yeah.
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 So,
No, it's the ability to persist through when things aren't going well, I would say, is one of those like non-negotiable traits of an entrepreneur, because the reality is that if something comes easy, you don't value it the way you should, and it's probably going to be short-lived.
yeah.
But the harder your journey is, whether it be from an entrepreneur perspective or maybe from something very specific in the business world, is that resilience and that failure and those trials and tribulations and obstacles that you go to directly correlate with your perception of the value of your business, right?
Yeah.
Like it kind of
Right.
becomes your baby, and you want to protect it, and you want to
Yeah.
help it grow, and you want to nurture it, right? So it's been it's been a long road, for yourself, for other entrepreneurs,
Yeah.
for the people that have gone through the financial crisis of 2008 or COVID or whatever that may be.
Mm.
But I think that's one of the non-negotiable things that you have to have is the ability to be resilient, and the ability, when you're being resilient, to rely on the skills that you most fully trust in
Yeah.
and render a product or a service that people will find value if you can talk to the right people.
Yeah.
But I think that what happens is we start to question our self-worth when something fails, right? Like, what did I do wrong? What did I
Yeah.
do wrong? And
Yeah.
it seems like another thing, kind of from the outside looking in, is a superpower of yours, is that you understand that there is a small, we'll call it luck, but it's probably not the most accurate word, but there is a small element of luck. There's an element of timing to each
Yeah.
product in the market. There's an element of sometimes to change the um, kind of the dexterity of your product within the market maybe is
Mm-hmm.
a change of 1% of whatever. You may be 99% of the way there, but you're
Yeah.
getting low adoption because of one thing. You understand that from a design perspective,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah.
it's amazing how many people have built successful companies off of good packaging or
Yeah.
good branding,
Yeah.
right? or
Right.
or a good customer experience. And so I say that to reinforce that once you establish that tenacity, if you know that you're that type of person, is to, um, really find a way to test different things, test the waters, which I think is brilliant, right? A lot of
Mm-hmm.
people are like, oh, do this one thing and do it super well. Like, how do you know that one thing is your thing unless you kind of trial and A/B test it amongst other things?
Yeah.
So I commend you for taking the opportunity to try three different things, because
Yeah.
how do you know where your skills and honestly where your heart fits unless you try these different products?
Yeah.
So what's kind of been some of the obstacles, right? Like what have been some of the things that have reared their head that you didn't really anticipate that you've had to kind of roll with in order to keep these, keep your different businesses going?
Yeah. Um, I think one of the biggest obstacles is probably like I similar to what you were saying is like you know I think there is also something that's important to focusing, and that's one thing that I do find harder for me to do, is focus on one thing, and that's important in retrospect. Is like, okay, like um, maybe just focus on one company and then really put a lot of emphasis and scale on that one and build that one up and then move to the next one. But yeah, I think that, or I think the other one is like maybe just really try and find product market fit.
Sure.
Um,
That's
for
Those are good words. I've said it before. Product market fit is something that if you are listening here, you really need to listen and understand product market fit, because it is it's kind of the number one indicator, right, of
Yeah,
what is going to work really well, right? Like, I think that you can overcome a lot of things with hard work, by taking care of people, or if you talk about it enough,
yeah,
you'll be able to get a business off the ground. But if you can establish some confident level of product market fit before you go and burn your life savings on your business, you will find it dramatically easier. But
yeah,
continue with what you're saying. I don't mean
yeah.
to cut you off.
Oh, no worries. Yeah, definitely. I think you know we were just really focusing on, like, okay, like at the very beginning, with just the peanut butter company, is just was thinking, oh, we can scale nationally and then globally or whatever, and that's not really feasible as a product market fit, because it's just too many type of people.
Right.
So then when we just focused on expat, um, or expat, or people who are living in Vietnam who are foreigners and
Mm,
Americans, and who understand peanut butter and cashew
right.
butter and understand the value, um, it scaled a little bit better. And then for the design business, we tried to do everything. Like, we did social media, video, um, illustration.
Sure.
Um, when we scaled our product down to just website building, it was much better and easier for our team. So they didn't have to focus on learning illustration and all the process. Website building and designing is already big enough to where it can be multiple product in itself.
Sure.
So at one time we were branding ourselves as a full service design agency, which was not feasible.
Yeah.
So scaling that product down to just one, and then we said, okay, we had some needs for branding. We do some branding. Then SEO. SEO is something that, like, we've just started to do more and more, and then now we're like getting into AI and more of that. So it's building it from that core product foundation was
Yeah.
very helpful.
I agree, and when you're talking about core product as well, something that I've learned over time, kind of being in this entrepreneur role, is like SEO goes along perfectly with the build of your website, because
Yeah,
what you don't want is someone to build your website and then say, "Hey, here's your URL.
yeah,
Go out there and share it with the world." You know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah,
Video production is very similar to that, and Branson can kind of speak to this, but it's like you really don't want a videographer that's just gonna make videos for you and then say, "Okay, here's your video,"
yeah,
right? Like, there's some fuel that goes behind making that thing that you've spent all of this time and energy and money on
right,
work. So, like, the production side of Lake Point Productions does some social media management and some content coaching and things like that. We really prefer content coaching. That way we can kind of teach people how to get the most out of their content. But
mm-hmm.
you don't want somebody to just, slap you on the butt and say, get out there and
Yeah,
be somebody. You know what
yeah,
I mean? Like,
yeah,
you have to be able to, whittle down that core product of what is this thing that I do well that helps people, makes people's lives easier, that they're
yeah,
okay with separating with some of their money in exchange for this value for them.
yeah,
But if you're looking at it from a core product perspective, make sure you're doing the things that bring that core product full circle, so that people really do get the full product out of the full value out of the product that
right,
you're rendering, right?
yeah,
So
yeah, definitely,
I would say that that's still very specific. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Finding those things that are so closely adjacent to the thing that you already do that it continues to make your product work is super valuable as well.
yeah,
But no, I think you've come a long way. Like I said at the beginning, kind of before we got on the podcast, is you didn't pick the easiest industries. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
there's a lot of people in the design world, especially when you're talking about offshore or overseas design. You really don't know what you're going to get, and you kind of you battle a lot of that stigma, I
yeah,
think, of
yeah,
cheap overseas work, and really that's not the case,
yeah,
right? Like,
yeah,
between the Philippines and Vietnam, some parts of Korea,
mm-hmm.
you can find incredible assets, people
Right,
that speak English very, very well, that can help you do things in your business.
yeah, definitely,
That you wouldn't be able to do, or maybe would cost you 4 or 5, 6 times as much with someone in the
right,
United States.
right,
And I think it's really, really cool to have kind of that liaison of someone that's on the same time frame as you,
yeah,
that lives over here, that can communicate back and forth with those teams. So
yeah,
I think you're in a really powerful position. I think you're
good,
going to be able to continue to grow.
yeah,
And if there's anything that myself or my network can do to make anything that you are interested in or are doing currently,
yeah,
I would love to introduce you to those people in my network. But
appreciate it,
yeah, no problem. I mean, that's kind of what we do. Like, nobody signs up to be a business owner because it's so easy. You know
yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean? So, and we look at everything from a payments perspective.
yeah,
We look at everything from a volume perspective and
yeah,
a gross revenue perspective and all of those things. And we see, like, how little changes you have to make sometimes to turn yourself from a 4 figure to a 5 figure to a 6 figure,
mm-hmm.
in revenue, recurring monthly or yearly
Yeah,
company.
yeah,
Like that thing happens in exponential growth. So you may be one of those people that's 99% of the way there. You don't know that 1% change is really what's going to change the validity of your product in the market. So, like I said, if there's anything that I can do for you, if there's anything that I can do for you guys, please let me know. Tell people how to find you. If they want to
sure,
work with Align to build a website, if they
yeah,
have more information about that food, or they maybe have
yeah.
a band-aid for some of the stuff that you're experiencing as far as product adoption goes. How do people reach out to you?
Yeah, so Align, you can visit our website at align.vn, and you can reach me at Luan, Luan, at align.vn. Um, yeah, and visiting the website, there's also a contact us, and that goes directly to me. And then for that food, we're looking for partners. We have FDA certified, USDA certified, as far as like the food certification to
Mm-hmm.
be. So we're looking for groceries to be in. We're in talk with H Mart to supply our product there.
Nice.
But just looking to launch our product to in stores here. So you can go to our website at dat foods foods .vn and find all information there.
Yeah,
But
I have someone in my network that comes to mind actually. Her role is franchising restaurant spaces.
oh,
So it's
cool.
like if you have a really successful restaurant and you want
Yeah,
to have 20 of them,
yeah.
she can help you kind of establish those systems, processes,
Oh,
equipment,
cool.
thing to make things very consistent.
Yeah,
Um, but another thing that she does is a lot of times she tells people you really don't want a franchise.
yeah,
You have this key, you're a barbecue place and you have this really key signature barbecue sauce. That's what people come to you for.
yeah,
That's what people love.
yeah,
Let's take that, let's bottle it, manufacture it, white label it, and let's put it in a retail locations from, Whole Foods, Walmart, Publix,
oh, cool. Yeah,
Kroger. That's right up her alley. So I can make that introduction for
definitely.
you as well.
Awesome.
Just remind me, I'll probably do it early next week. She's out of town. I was actually just talking to her, but
Yeah,
no, yeah, I think what you're doing is really cool. And like I said,
yeah,
if we can be any benefit to that journey, please let me know.
yeah.
So
And just last thing, I guess, for your community, if they wanna, if anyone, businesses need rebrand of the website, I think we're willing
I would
to.
bet you that half or more of the businesses listening right now need to heed what you're about to say. So
So yeah, we're willing to give them 30% off. Our website, our custom build on WordPress, is SEO optimized. And we do the whole design, custom design, and then build in Figma, and then we do prototyping, and then build it in custom in WordPress. So we build a custom theme for them, and then also do the SEO keyword research and build that all into
nice,
the package, and then free hosting on for a year.
nice.
So 30%, I guess, for you guys.
Yeah, I
If you
appreciate that.
wanna,
Yeah, that means a lot. Yeah, we'll take them up. Luan,
yeah,
thank you for being a part of the
definitely.
Burn the Ship family. It means a lot to us. I appreciate the offer that you've extended to our people. I hope to find some people to help you take you up on it. So,
Awesome.
well, thanks for coming.
Yeah,
And I encourage you guys to go back and listen to some of the other episodes. Pay attention to what we have coming forward with Burn the Ship. We want to keep doing this. We have a lot of fun with it. We enjoy learning these things and understanding where business is at in general. So if you have any suggestions of people that we should host on the podcast, I would love commentary from you guys. But this has been Burn the Ship. I'll see you guys again soon.